I think the late 90s or early 2000s. It was somewhere around there. And then I remember Sheldon Lettish talking about how he was going to have Van Damme be in a movie, sort of inspiration from the X-Files, sort of dealing with cults or things of that nature, and that never happened as well. And I still would love to see Van Damme in that genre, because he's never done the horror genre.
I mean, you can just imagine Van Damme helicopter kicking a Yeti.
We'd all pay to see that. It has to be practical. It has to be
Oh yeah.
Rick Baker joint.
Sorry.
But the next one we talk about is James Cameron's Spider-Man, which back in the early 90s, Cameron had submitted a 47-page treatment. At one point, Arnold was linked to the project, rumored to play Doc Ock. I think Cameron wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play Spider-Man, or he was tapped to play Spider-Man. Carrico Pictures bought the rights to Spider-Man for around $50 million, and towards the end of shooting True Lies, Carrico had received a screenplay from Cameron. So
Leonardo DiCaprio would not work as Spider-Man. I like him as an actor. He's a good actor. I really like him in The Wolf of Wall Street. What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He's a really good actor, but he doesn't have that wit to make Spider-Man. I think you need that wit. I just don't see him as Spider-Man. I mean, if Brandon Lee was alive though, I think Brandon Lee would have been the perfect Spider-Man, because he would have had the physical, but then if you watch something like Showdown in Tokyo, he had the wit, the smart-ass quips, and you can have a man. It doesn't have to be, Spider-Man can be a man in some movie someday. It'd be nice, because it's called Spider-Man. There are times where he's a man. He's always 18 years old. But, I mean, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, it just makes me think of Mr. Freeze. Which I know Stallone was going to be Mr. Freeze, some other, but that's another thing. But I think I remember one point James Cameron saying he was going to have Michael Biehn.
that would have been cool.
Late 80s Michael Biehn, that would have been interesting. Because I like Michael Biehn, but I don't know, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, not the James Cameron today, Jimmy Cammey. He's lost the touch.
Yeah, I got that treatment, and there's a really cool opening shot with Spider-Man upside down, looking down on the city, but he's hanging upside down, and it's kind of, you would imagine it kind of like is like the opening credit shot with looking down at the street, and then coming up, and it switches, like the POV shot turns into Spider-Man, he's hanging upside down. That would have been cool. But just to go back a second, you guys mentioned Hunter. That is fantastic. I'm like 80% through that. It's a couple of hundred pages, and that is fantastic. You don't even have to imagine it being Rambo, because from the first page it's total Rambo. And we would have got that First Blood Rambo with like the self-made clothing, with like the tunic would have made a cameo in it. It's very, it's very good. Yeah.
But yeah. Stallone, make that movie. You don't need to do Creed 2, 3, 4. Just do Hunter. I mean, I've said that like for the past 7 years since Rambo 4. Just do Hunter. But what do I know?
It's a fantastic reading experience, that's for sure. It's just out of the box, and it's like Taylor Rambo, so like I can see when he was reading it why he would use that for Rambo, because you don't even have to imagine, seriously, it's just like Rambo.
And hey, if you want to do Rambo 5 Storm, do that. I don't care how many people get pissed. Do it. Do it. But okay, what are your thoughts on the James Cameron Spider-Man? Any thoughts at all? Or Schwarzenegger being Doc Ock, Leo, DiCaprio, all that stuff? Either of you guys.
As far as Arnold as Doc Ock, I mean, I think it would have been a repeat performance of Mr. Freeze. A lot of bad puns. Leonardo DiCaprio is a great actor. He's done a lot of great movies. But as Spider-Man, I think you're right. He doesn't have maybe back in the day he had the look, but he probably didn't have the wisecracks. And as far as the action scenes, I don't know if I would have bought that. But you said it best. Brandon Lee would have been perfect for that role, because here's a guy that can deliver an action, that can deliver in quips and wisecracks, and I think that would have been the best casting choice.
I mean, the thing I would be interested in is the technical aspect, because James Cameron, being a very technical guy, what he would have brought to it, it would have been different than what Sam Raimi or such did, but you go ahead. Other Matt.
It would have been cool to have that dark James Cameron twist to it. Like his movies always have a look. Like whenever you see a James Cameron movie, regardless if you've seen it before, you usually always know it's a James Cameron movie because it's got that feel. So it would have been really cool, especially with someone like Brandon Lee, because he had a really youthful look to him back then. And with his martial arts background, he was very flexible. You could very easily pull it off.
What about the notion of Arnold as Doc Ock?
I'm with you guys. I think that would have been a Freeze, a prequel to Freeze, Sly is Doc Ock. I would like to see it, but, I don't know if it would have been good for the film. But I would definitely check it out. It's got to be better than Spy Kids 3, right? So.
I mean, I'd much rather have a James Cameron Spider-Man film than Titanic.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, and another Avatar film.
Yeah.
Or even when James Cameron was going to do Jurassic Park.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he said in an interview he was like just a couple hours away from getting when Spielberg got it. And James Cameron said if he made Jurassic Park, it would have been like Aliens.
Well, that would have been cool.
Wow.
Which I would love to see. I don't know why they just doesn't do that and just you don't have to call it fucking Dino Crisis. So make that movie, not Avatar 2, 3, 7, 11.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 100 years before that sequel comes out, and then we gotta wait another 100 years before the third part. That's insane.
Ferngully 3, Ferngully 4.
Last Samurai 5, Last Samurai 6.
But the next one we can talk about is Tim Burton's Superman Lives, The Death of Superman.
Yeah, I highly urge anyone to check out that documentary. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen. It took a concept I thought was stupid, and after watching it, I'm like, I want to see this movie. Because the casting is weird, but at the same time, I can see the passion they had and the wild visual chance they were trying to take. It definitely would have been different. I mean, who knows with the final product, but the artwork before and the stuff they were building, the suits. They were possibly thinking, of course, Nick Cage as Superman, maybe Sandra Bullock or Courtney Cox or Julianne Moore as Lois Lane. Chris Rock was going to be Jimmy Olsen. Christopher Walken was going to be Brainiac. I think they said maybe Kevin Spacey was going to be Luthor, who of course played Luthor in Superman Returns. Fighting with Doomsday. Maybe I heard that there was also going to be a cameo by Michael Keaton, which made sense because he knew Tim Burton. And the Skull spaceship and the giant spider, which John Peters has a hard-on for, later put in Wild Wild West, which is because the movie didn't get made because at the time Warner Bros. Was having so many flops. 187 Samuel Jackson, Sphere with Dustin Hoffman, Major League 3, which somehow had a budget. They're having all these, Fire Down Below with Steven Seagal. And some of these, I don't mind some of them like Fire Down Below, but they were pretty much all flops. And of course, the biggest culprit was Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin was such a joke, and it didn't make as much money as they wanted. That they're like, no, superhero movies are kind of dead. We don't want to put this much money into it, so we don't put in Wild Wild West. That's because Will Smith was a big star. And it was after that, weirdly enough, that superheroes then became the thing. Because you had Blade in '98, you had X-Men in 2001, 2002, then X-Men 2, Blade 2, and so forth. But I know Tim Burton was pissed off at, I think, Joel Schumacher for Batman and Robin for pretty much killing. That's really probably the big death of Superman is. But yeah, anyone who ever sees that documentary, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a look. It's really fascinating.
I know at one point, I saw this video of Kevin Smith, and at one point he was saying that they asked him a little ways into the script writing, writing the script, if he would consider writing all DC movies. They were going to do like a whole bunch of DC movies, like a whole DC line, like a DCU line, and he was pondering it for a bit. It makes me wonder what that would have turned out like, because usually he's pretty faithful. If you go back and read like the first Superman script, it's pretty he's pretty faithful to it, and then by the time you get to the other script, it's kind of like in the documentary how like the first half deals with like the Kevin Smith script and the second half deals with the Wesley Strick, I want to say, his script.
Wesley Strick, who I think worked with Tim Burton on like Batman Returns, I think, and such like that.
Yeah, it's two completely different scripts, but there's still like overlines from the first one that end up in the second one, and that would have been like that would have been something to see. Just the amount of things that they were throwing in there, like the concepts, it's mind-boggling. That would have been such a uniquely different type of movie to see.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the documentary, so I still have to watch it. But I remember seeing some of the pictures, and I don't know what kind of drugs they were on, but
I was honestly, after seeing it, it's like maybe it's like Stephen King when he made Maximum Overdrive. Maybe sometimes drugs is a good thing, because Stephen King was on cocaine when he made Maximum Overdrive, and I love that movie. So I'm like, maybe some of these people need drugs. I mean, I needed drugs after seeing Man of Steel. After seeing Man of Steel, I'm like, you know what? I want to see Superman fight a giant spider.
Yeah.
I'll see that movie instead.
I was pretty disappointed with that movie too. I thought that wasn't. I don't know. It just didn't feel like Superman to me at all. And
it was a depressing dick.
Yeah.
With a S means hope. No, it means you're fucking sad sack.
I was talking to this guy a couple of weeks ago, Adam Davis, and he was saying like Stephen King, when he was he doesn't remember writing Cujo at all because he was on so much cocaine that he doesn't remember anything. It's pretty funny.
Do you think that Nicolas Cage would have worked as Superman?
He's hit and miss to me as the actor. It depends if Tim Burton can reel him in. I like the first Ghost Rider. Second film, too much. I'm knocking at the door. It just, you can't do that for Superman. But if it's like City of Angels, his performance was not bad in that. He won an Oscar leaving Las Vegas, bringing out the dead. Martin Scorsese.
Oh yeah.
If you have that Nick Cage, and he was a big fan. I mean, what, his son is named Kal-El, or
yeah.
So he obviously was really passionate about it. So it depends what Tim Burton could do with him. Who knows? Maybe this would be like. I mean, there's always room for surprise.
Yeah. And I found it like